Yes, student, today's topic is for class 9th and 10th. 9th और 10th दोनों में कॉमन है ये, और द टॉपिक इज आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ गैसेस. हम अपने लाइफ में, डेली लाइफ में, लाइक कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड या अमोनिया. अमोनिया इज रिलेटेड विद डीके ऑफ एनिमल्स. Carbon dioxide is related with photosynthesis. There are so many gases which play a phenomenal role in our life. Right? So today's topic is how do we identify gases? And most of them are common. There is one or two gases which are in class 10th ICSE, and most of the gases are in class 9th ICSE syllabus. Having said that, ICSE is a combined group, 9th and 10th both. So let us talk about gases. So first we will do their classification. Gases are of three kinds: acidic, neutral and alkaline. Now acidic gases are those which turns blue litmus red. Neutral are those which are not at all affected by no effect. Any litmus, no effect. And alkaline gases are those which turns red litmus blue. Red litmus to blue. Alkaline gases are only in terms of types. It is only of one type, that is compound. Neutral gases are of two kinds, that is pure state element and pure state compound. And acidic gases are also classified as element and compound. Among the acidic element gases there is only one gas, which is chlorine. In compound it is hydrogen chloride, sulfur dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, hydrogen sulfide, carbon dioxide and sulfur dioxide. And among the elements are hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen. I am putting an asterisk on it because it can be identified only by an indirect test. Remember, nitrogen do not give any direct test. That I will discuss as the class progresses. Among the compound which are neutral are water and nitric oxide. And compound which are alkaline is only one. I am going to put two gases in square boxes: A, chlorine; B, nitrogen dioxide. Why did I put them in boxes? Because these are colored. This is greenish yellow in color, and this is reddish brown in color. So there are two colored gases only. Name a greenish yellow gas, name a reddish brown gas. If at all you identify first of all chlorine, so we'll write chlorine. It is a greenish yellow gas. Chlorine can turn moist blue litmus red. Moist blue litmus red. With more chlorine it will be bleached. Remember, what do you need to remember? There is only one gas which can be tested by an indicator, that is chlorine. Most of the indicators only change their color from blue to red in terms of acidic gas, but chlorine is the only gas which changes blue litmus to red and further changes to bleached. So only one gas which can be confirmed and identified by litmus is chlorine, because chlorine changes moist blue litmus to red, and further with more chlorine the litmus gets bleached. Bleached means turns to white. Next gas is hydrogen chloride. Next gas is hydrogen chloride. Forgot to tell you that it has a choking odor. You find difficulty in breathing, choking odor. And hydrogen chloride is physical properties also are identifiable properties, right? So as the class progress, we will talk about pungent, offensive, smelling of rotten egg. There are so many observations. But when you talk about confirmation, there has to be a characteristic test, one and only test, right? So hydrogen chloride is a pungent smelling gas. And how do you confirm it? Confirmatory test. CT stands for confirmatory test. Bring a glass rod dipped in ammonia solution on the mouth of test tube having hydrogen chloride gas. It will give dense white fume. What will it give? Dense white fumes. There is one more quality question. Two gases reacting to give white sublime solid. Two gases reacting to give white sublime solid. White sublime solid. Next gas is carbon dioxide. Resuming, now we come to carbon dioxide. Second gas is carbon dioxide. When you prepare it in solution, it gives brisk means tej, effervescent gas. Which gas? Brisk effervescent gas. Preparation we will do later on. Preparation is, first we will talk about observation and confirmatory part, and in some other class we will simply talk about preparation, no confirmation, right? So characteristic test is this gas turns lime water milky. Carbon dioxide turns lime water milky. And also, if you keep on passing carbon dioxide to the milky solution, it changes to colorless. But this test is similar to sulfur dioxide. That is to say, both. There are two gases which can turn lime water milky. There are two gases which when passed on lime water, that is calcium hydroxide solution. Both of these gases turns lime water milky. A, carbon dioxide, B, sulfur dioxide. Most of the time, you refrain from using the name, the formula. When you speak about name, you strictly speak about the name. Don't write formula in terms of name. In other words, read the question paper very carefully. Name a gas other than sulfur dioxide which turns lime water milky. Answer is not CO2. The answer is carbon dioxide. So coming back, both the gases turns, sulfur dioxide and carbon dioxide turns lime water milky. So there has to be one more test that pass carbon dioxide on an orange colored compound which is acidified potassium dichromate. With carbon dioxide it shows no effect. No effect when acidified potassium dichromate solution is passed by carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide do not turn any color change in orange colored acidified potassium dichromate. But if I change to sulfur dioxide, this is a suffocating gas. You don't feel like breathing. Suffocating gas. This gas also turns lime water milky. This gas also turns lime water milky. And when more sulfur dioxide is passed, milkiness disappears. Colorless solution is formed. But this test is similar to carbon dioxide. So there has to be one more test confirmatory, that is pass sulfur dioxide on filter paper soaked in acidified potassium dichromate. For acid I am writing H+. That is language of chemistry, which is orange in color. This orange color changes to clear green. In some books, some lectures, you will find it changes to green. But you have to emphatically stress clear green, because the compound chromium sulfate, which is green in color, forms clear solution. Clear solution. Clear solution. Now fourth gas which we are going to talk about, hydrogen sulfide. This smells of rotten egg. It smells of rotten egg. smells of rotten egg. And the confirmatory test is this gas when passed on filter paper soaked in lead acetate solution. Lead acetate solution. This gas turns lead acetate to silvery black precipitate. Silvery black precipitate. For the records, lead acetate CH3COO whole twice Pb with H2S. It is a double decomposition reaction. Just return the valencies CH3COO minus Pb plus 2 H plus S minus 2. Plus goes to minus and plus goes to minus. So silvery black precipitate of lead sulfide is formed. Remember, precipitate is shown by downward arrow. Next we come to is nitrogen dioxide. Nitrogen dioxide itself, as I told in the beginning, reddish brown in color. Recall the class I told you there are only two gases which have characteristic color. Characteristic means definable, पहचानने लायक. हर कोई व्यक्ति देखने में प्राइम मिनिस्टर नहीं लगता या पॉलिटिशियन नहीं लगता. With the dress, suppose there is somebody in green fatigue, then you realize that probably it's an army man. Somebody in white, we relate it to politician. Same way, some gases are characteristically colored. One of them is chlorine, which was the first gas which we discussed, and another gas is nitrogen dioxide, which is reddish brown in color. How do you confirm the gas? So confirmatory test for nitrogen dioxide is pass it over potassium iodide solution or filter paper soaked in acidified potassium iodide solution. Then it probably changes to violet vapor, and violet vapor are nothing but they are iodine. Next gas is, after this is neutral gas. Among neutral gas, first one is hydrogen. It's seen as bubbles rising. Remember, bubbles rising. Rising is underlined because it is the lightest gas. Because it is the lightest gas. There are two confirmatory tests. Hydrogen when burnt in air. Hydrogen when burnt in air, it gives characteristic pop sound like this. Like this. Burns with characteristic pop sound. Burns with pop sound. But if hydrogen is burnt in pure air, read pure oxygen, burnt in pure oxygen. Burnt in pure oxygen, a characteristic burns with blue flame. Blue flame. 7. Next gas is oxygen. Oxygen has two confirmatory tests. Number 1, if you bring a burning splinter in the environment of oxygen, it will flame more. It will flame more. You can watch some videos on the GIF or videos on the web, Google or YouTube. But oxygen, other than chlorine, there is one more gas which supports burning. That is oxygen. In other words, there are two gases which support burning. Oxygen and chlorine. So oxygen rekindles a glowing splinter. Rekindles a glowing splinter. Rekindles a glowing splinter. And also, this test is not mentioned in few books, few textbooks of class 9th and 10th. But it is a bona fide test. Oxygen turns alkaline pyrogolol. Pyrogolic acid is a mixture of complex mixture of three organic compounds, which obviously you will see in the next videos of the next classes. Alkaline pyrogolol turns dark brown. So oxygen turns alkaline pyrogolol dark brown. Is nitrogen. Nitrogen is an inert gas, not inert gas, highly unreactive. Highly unreactivity of nitrogen molecule is attributed to the basic reason that it forms a strong triple covalent bond. Three electron from one nitrogen atom shared with 3 more electron of another nitrogen atom, thereby forming a strong triple covalent bond, and that leads to this very characteristic property like it's unreactive. And for the records, allow me to tell you that before the discovery of noble gases, filament of bulb, the oxidation of filament of the bulb, which were made from bamboo sticks and burnt carbon, were prevented from oxidation in the environment of nitrogen. But that never lasts too long. Until the discovery of noble gases, nitrogen used to create inert atmosphere so as to prevent the oxidation of filaments in the bulb. That is probably in 17th century. But now that we have more noble and inert gases, so the use of nitrogen as inert gas in bulb filament is obsolete. But that leads us to believe that nitrogen is a highly unreactive gas. So how do we identify when the gas is not reactive? How can we identify the gas chemically? So we convert nitrogen into some compound of nitrogen where it can give a characteristic test. So nitrogen converted to ammonia. Nitrogen converted to ammonia. You can see calcium when heated with nitrogen gives calcium nitride, and calcium nitride when passed over warm water, it gives calcium hydroxide plus ammonia. And ammonia when made to react with concentrated hydrochloric acid gives dense white fume. So nitrogen can be converted to ammonia and then it can be tested by concentrated hydrochloric acid. Do not write dilute. Dilute hydrochloric acid do not give dense white fumes with ammonia. Only concentrated hydrochloric acid or hydrogen chloride gas. Now there is a difference between hydrogen chloride gas and hydrochloric acid. That can be discussed some other time perhaps, not beyond the boundaries of this topic called identification of gases. Now we come to ninth, that is water vapor. This is quite, water is elixir of life. You can't imagine life blooming on this blessed planet called Earth without water. There are instances of microfossils, there are instances of stromatolites, there are instances of single-celled animal, but life around 480 million years back took a time certain elements had to convert. If you go to evolution of Earth or cosmos or that kind of theory where how is Earth evolved, then obviously you would probably come across the reasons where how and why elements could convert to life. And life, right from blue whale, the largest living giant mammal, to small elements, single-celled animals like amoeba and euglena, then it's a complex mixture. There are so many organic compounds which are composed from various elements. Some are ending up being organic, some are ending up with inorganic, some are intermediate between the two. That depends. But water is one of the most important. There was one instance where somebody asked, can we live without food? But if we keep on drinking water, yes, we can live for probably around 40 days biologically. But if you stop eating and also drinking water, probably you will not last beyond 72 hours, maybe 4 days maximum. There are instances where people and scientists from this fraternity made experiments or made experiments on animals. They did not make them eat, but kept them giving them fluid. And in some cases, some observation, they kept on giving the fluid, but did not give the meal. So depends on. But yes, water is one of the important ingredients for life to sustain. How do you identify water in lab? Coming back, if you pass water on white copper sulfate, if copper sulfate changes to blue, then this probably compound is water. Or for that matter, blue cobalt chloride changes to pink. So blue to pink, cobalt chloride paper changes from blue to pink. 10th gas is nitric oxide. It's a compound of nitrogen and oxygen, and that is nitric oxide. It is a colorless gas, but nitric oxide, when burnt in oxygen at 50 degrees centigrade around, to give reddish brown gas, which with potassium iodide turns violet. In other words, nitric oxide converted to nitrogen dioxide, and then nitrogen dioxide is confirmed. Now there is one more question. Two neutral gases giving acidic gas. Two neutral gases giving acidic gas. Name the gases, right? So next one is the last one, which is called ammonia. Ammonia is a pungent, offensive smelling gas. Pungent, offensive. This is, I keep on frequently asking these questions to my young boys and girls, that have you ever passed through a street or a road with an animal, dead and decaying animal around? Do you see a foul smelling gas? Do you smell? No, you don't see a gas. You can smell the odor. When you pass through a dead and decaying animal or a region where there is so much of vegetation dump, there is a foul smelling gas. That is due to bacterial action on the protein of animal, or for that matter, bacterial action on the protein of plants, that leads to, protein is compound made of carbon, hydrogen, nitrogen and oxygen. But due to bacterial action on those proteins, a gas is evolved. And that gas is none other than ammonia. So it's pungent, it pierces in your nose, offending. You don't feel very nice. Offending is when आपको जब अच्छा नहीं लगता है. Offend means बुरा लगना. ऐसी गैस जो नाक को चुभती है और सूंघने में बुरी लगती है. Pungent, offensive smelling gas is ammonia, which is formed in natural condition due to bacterial decay of most probably animal matter, in some cases plants also. How do you identify ammonia? Number one, confirmatory test. Pass the gas on concentrate hydrochloric acid. There will be observation of dense white fume. There is one more confirmatory test. When ammonia is passed on a reagent, filter paper having Nessler's reagent, it will turn to dark brown. It will turn to dark brown. And this is for class 10 students. Properly underline this. If ammonia is passed over copper sulfate solution, underline the term solution, because solution has water and ammonia will convert to ammonium hydroxide. Underline the term solution. Pale blue precipitate is formed. Pale blue precipitate is formed. That completes your topic. Now, summarizing it, there are two gases only which are colored in nature. A. Chlorine, which is greenish yellow in color. B. Nitrogen dioxide, which is reddish brown in color. There are few gases which have characteristic smell and odor. Like chlorine, it has a choking odor. Sulfur dioxide, it is suffocating. Hydrogen chloride, pungent. Ammonia, pungent, offensive smelling gas. Hydrogen sulfide, which smells of rotten egg. There are certain questions where we talk about two gases reacting to give a white sublime solid. Two gases reacting to give, two neutral gases reacting to give colored acidic oxide. So there are few more questions lined up, around 15. Watch for the next video. Thank you.